Hey guys, and welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. This episode, I felt really called to share and talk into because it's something that not just myself, but so many people in my world have been experiencing and going through now more than ever before. And I would like to hear from you. Do you feel like in 2025, or maybe even the last couple of years, you have had far more people in your life pass away than ever before? I have noticed that there has been a major shift in those exiting. And I want to share this from multiple perspectives and a different lens, coming to you from a psychic medium, but also someone that has had a lot of people in my life pass away. So my deepest emotions are with you. If you are someone that has felt like more people in your life have passed away recently than ever before, you're not alone. From 2020 to 2025, we have noticed far more people exiting this physical plane in such a rapid pace than ever before. It's just in my world, because I connect with so many people on a spiritual level, by also doing mediumship and psychic readings for people all around the world, I get a lot of people come to me wanting to connect with past loved ones. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Tamzin. I'm the collective consciousness coach. I have been doing psychic readings, mediumship readings, Akashic record readings, starseed readings, courses, programs, and containers professionally for the past 5 years. Now, why I feel that this topic and this subject is so important right now is because a lot of people close to me have been experiencing losses of their very near and dear close ones. So I'm going to share some insight on how to connect with them. I'm going to share some information on what the difference between mediumship and psychic readings are, how to identify the signs from your past loved ones, and what it means when we are still going through the human experience whilst also really wanting to continue that relationship with our past loved ones. So, first of all, I want to just quickly explain that mediumship readings and psychic readings are completely different. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that know the difference, but I've also come across quite a handful of people that, think it's the same. And look, that's not your fault. A lot of people that are channels, that are psychics and or mediums, will describe themselves as psychic mediums. And it's like there's this way of connecting that may be different to other people. See, some psychic mediums have both the abilities, and some mediums are just mediums, and some psychics are just psychics. Now, the difference is that a medium is someone who connects with the dead, or someone who connects and can channel messages from past loved ones. Past loved ones meaning people that have had and gone through a human experience, been in a physical vessel, and then their soul and spirit left the physical plane and returned to the light. Now, a psychic reading is when someone has the psychic abilities to tap into a person's energy on this physical plane and receive messages from within that other person's consciousness or energy field. So a psychic reading is like tapping into the different types of clairs that there are, like clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient, etc. There's many. So they are two completely different things, but when a psychic medium builds up their knowledge and their channeling abilities, they can become easily accessible to get into both types of spiritual connection. If you are wanting to connect with a past loved one, you go to a medium. If you are wanting to connect with receiving like human life questions such as, am I going to get this house I applied for? Am I going to travel this year? Am I going to buy this car, my dream car? All sorts of like current life questions. Now, the thing about getting a psychic reading is a bit controversial in my opinion. I don't believe that psychics or intuitive channels should give too long predictions, too far in the distant predictions, right? And the reason that I say that is because a psychic, depending on their quality and expertise, a psychic can tap into, let's say, the current moment and the current experiences and situations or timelines that somebody is going through, or the crossroads or the particular path that somebody else is on. And that can change. Free will can redirect someone. So giving someone a prediction, a psychic prediction, 6 months to 12 months in advance can be quite not so beneficial. Now, if you are someone who is wanting a long-term annual prediction, an astrologer is someone who you would go to because the planets are in place. That is something that doesn't change due to free will. So an astrologer can actually look at your charts and give you certain insight into the themes going on in your life in the next 3, 6, 12 months. Whilst also honoring the fact that anything can change within those themes, and certain themes could have different definitions and meanings for each individual person. So for example, a certain theme of September for you could mean going through a breakdown, or a theme in September could mean purging or letting go. And so everybody's definition of that could be different. So an astrologer is more of a long-term prediction insight. Psychic readings can give you like information on how to move forward in life in your current human experience, and a mediumship is someone you go to connect with past loved ones. I want to share some things with you around what happens when someone passes over. There are many, many different steps and stages that a soul can go through And I think that everyone comes in with their own unique belief or their own unique idea on what happens when someone passes. Now, for me, I have had a near death experience where I truly believe that I did pass over and I went to the heavens and I met God and I saw all my past loved ones and I communicated with them, and then I came out of that over 13 years ago, and I remember seeing it all on a different perspective. So explaining what that experience was for me is that when my soul and spirit left my physical body, and it was as though I blinked and then opened my eyes again and I was standing above the clouds, but I didn't have legs. I was more so floating. I was translucent, and I was a spirit. And it's interesting to describe because I was illuminating and I was bright and I was light, but I was translucent and you could see through my vessel, but I looked like me. But when I communicated, my mouth didn't move. And so I knew that that was telepathic communication, right? Now, I remember seeing God standing under the white arch, which prior to this experience, I'd always heard about it, right? I'm not religious myself, and I don't have a particular faith that I'm devoted to. But when I saw God standing under the arch, the white arch, he had a white robe on, and I could tell that he was like a masculine energy, although there was no real depiction or definition to him being male. I just knew. And for some people, they would describe that as clairvoyance. And I saw him, and then I could hear in my consciousness, because his mouth also didn't move when he spoke to me. Now, I heard him say, "You have a choice. You have passed over. You are in the heavens, and it is your choice whether you continue to come through this and come back to the light, or go back into your human physical vessel and continue life on your purposeful path." And so I remember having conversation and just standing there, and this there's a lot to this story, so we'll have to save it for another episode. But describing when someone passes over, it felt peaceful. It felt light. It felt freeing. It felt enlightened. It felt different, but there was no sense of emotions tied to thinking. When I reflect back on it now, and as I have done almost every day since for the past 13 years, when I reflect on it now, I think, why? Why did I not have any emotions? Why did I not feel sadness or grief for leaving? Why? And I have done a lot of deep diving into understanding why in this realm. Now, this is based off my own experience, my own perspective, my own understanding. And so, like I said, everyone comes with their own, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. What I have found through my own journey is that when your soul and your spirit goes back to the light, it goes back to the universe. It goes back to Creator. being. It goes back to the infinite existence of where we come from. And wherever that may be is going to be different for everyone. And that is what connects us to this human experience. Because the purpose of life is to feel emotions, and all range of emotions, whether that be sadness, grief, sorrow, pain, anxiety, panic, happiness, joy, fulfillment, laughter. All these emotions are actually what make us human. And that's what connects us to this earthly plane to experience all levels of emotion. And when we go back to Source Creator, when we go back to the spirit realm, the only emotion we have is pure love. The only emotion that we have is pure love. And it's light, and it's translucent, and it's airy, and it's what connects us. It's what I truly believe is the collective consciousness purpose, is to live in a state of love, and a love for thyself and a love thy other. Now, that's why when your past loved ones transition into the spirit realm, they don't actually feel emotions. I get a lot of people come to me and ask me, is my past loved one at peace, or has my past loved one, are they out of pain? Because, we have a lot of people who experience pain, and we in this human experience worry that they are still going to feel pain when they pass over. But it's just not the case. When a spirit passes over and transitions into the spirit realm, all they have is peace and love. And I don't know where I stand on the idea of, can a soul get stuck? I don't know where I stand on that, because our spirit, our soul is so intelligent and so powerful and so connected that I don't think that a spirit can get stuck. Maybe a spirit can stay here on this physical plane to support and guide and love and protect their loved ones who they were immensely near and dear to on this physical plane. And they choose to be here. They aren't stuck here. I have heard many stories of, people being told that a soul can get stuck. And like I said, I'm not too sure where I sit with it. I like to believe that they can't and they don't, because spirits and souls, they're just far too intelligent. But then that takes me to the next. How can you ask your past loved ones for a sign? What we really want to do is ensure that we are continuously honoring our past loved ones and light a candle for them, have a little place in your home where you display photos of them, and still talk to your past loved ones in your consciousness as if they are still around. You could imagine a experience in your mind where you're telepathically communicating with them as if you're phoning them up and having a conversation, right? Because they can hear you. They can hear your thoughts, because your thoughts aren't just yours. Your mind, your consciousness, your intuition is your telephone to the multidimensional realms, whether that be to your past loved ones or abroad. You can call on them. You can, when you go to sleep at night, you can ask your dream guides to take you to your father or your mother or your sister or your brother, your best friend or your uncle or your daughter or your son. You can ask your spirit team to send you signs of your past loved ones. You just simply have to be aware enough to listen to the whispers. So ask yourself, what was my dad's or my uncle's or my best friend's or my son's favorite animal? And start to become aware of when you see that animal. And then say in your consciousness, even if you feel a little bit crazy to begin with, it will start to feel natural. Say in your consciousness, I see you, I hear you, I am aware of you. And it will start to present itself more and more clearer, that it won't be a crazy idea that that's them. You could light a candle, because flames on candles are a very, very spiritually connected portal to the spiritual realm, the spirit realm. And so when you light a candle, you can watch the flame maneuver around and flutter. You can ask for your past loved ones to twinkle the flame. The other thing that past loved ones really like is when you stargaze. I've connected with a lot of past loved ones, and a lot of what they've said is that when someone goes out in the night and looks up at the stars, what that actually does to us as human beings is connects us to the universe, right? It actually connects us to the universe, and it makes us think there's so much more out there. And it just automatically does that in our mind, and it makes us realize that there's an infinite world of possibilities. And when we have these moments of epiphanies, we actually come to realize that we aren't too far apart from, the spirit realm or what else might be possible. So past loved ones love it when you go out in the night sky or you stargaze. It's very, very important to remember that your past loved ones are still around. They really, really are still around. They just are on a different frequency plane than what we have anchored here on Earth. The thing is that the more that you practice connecting in with your past loved ones or the spirit realm, the more natural it will become. The more you will notice the signs, the more that you will hear, the more that you will connect, whether it be in your dream world or, you will start to actually hear from them within your consciousness. Do not undervalue the thoughts passing through your mind, because that is how our spirit team connect and communicate with us. And maybe your past loved ones are a part of your spirit team. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I've been able to bring some clarity and some peace and some guidance to you if you have experienced grief in this way. If you have any questions, I would love to be able to answer them for you. I will make more and more episodes based on your questions. So they mean the world to us behind the scenes, because it does really help us to make sure that we are giving and providing so much value to you all. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and share this video.